course. Wade Pollock, Peter Lake, Caitlin Foy. William Postic is not here, and then Desiree Tomesco.
We'll have a moment of silence. And please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic, and one nation, God, indivisible, liberty and justice. Item 4.1, consider approving the agenda. Before we consider approving the agenda, I wanted to see if there's a motion to table item 9.6 regarding the pickleball, because I don't think we understand the requirements for the pickleball just yet, how much it'll cost, how much space will be needed, and how much noise it might make, that kind of stuff. So I was going to ask Rich E. now from Marple Newtown Recreation to come in and speak about what he knows about it and some other experts before we discuss locations. It'd be best to understand the requirements of the pickleball courts. So do I have a motion?
I motion it.
We have a
Who was the second? Okay.
so we have.
Well, yeah.
Thank you.
We'll be back to you. Yeah. We have to research.
So the motion was made by member Lake and seconded by member Tomasco.
Okay. And it was a 4-0 vote.
Oh,
Everybody agreed?
I'm sorry. All those in favor, say aye. Aye.
Okay.
The motion moves unanimous.
Great. So now you'll approve the agenda.
Yes. So do we have a motion to consider approving the agenda?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
The motion was made by member Foy and approved by, or seconded by member Tomasco. Public comment for agenda items only. No members. Is there anything from the public or? Item 6.1, consider approving the minutes from March 2nd, 2023 meeting. Do we have a motion
Motion.
and a second?
Second.
Motion was made by member Foy and seconded by member Lake. So it moves. Item 7.1, public works update. Mr. Sharretts.
Sure. Just a few things I'll share. Most of has to do with our activity during the month of March. I'll note that the shades that you spent a lot of time and energy on researching, getting ready, voting, et cetera. So they're ordered. I'm waiting to hear back when they're going to be delivered. So following the Board of Supervisors meeting, after you moved it to the Board of Supervisors recommending it, we recommended it at the board, they approved it. Steve Neese, the township manager, said, you know, I realized that there's been a request about the slides themselves for some time. He said, what would it cost if we replace those slides at the same time as we're ordering these other things? So I quickly got a price for it. It was $6,647, which includes the installation of them. Steve said, you know what, let's bring to the board asking whether we can go into some of the monies that we've held aside for future work, future park work to replace the slides, because you're putting money into the Brookside Park playground set, trying to give it some more life. He said this would probably be a good idea too. So he recommended bringing that to the board. They approved that. So we are going to be getting new slides as well as the shades when they come in. That'll all get done at the same time. Again, just giving a little shot in the arm to it. So I share that with you. In a way, that's a maintenance item that it wasn't really a new addition. like the shades were. It's a maintenance item, but I wanted to make sure I brought it to you. And I think it was in the spirit of what you were trying to do out there. So I knew you'd be comfortable with it. I didn't want to wait until your next meeting because we wouldn't have been able to get them at the same time then. During the last couple of weeks, we installed approximately 100 cubic yards of playground mulch at the 5 tot lots, the 5 playgrounds in the township. Again, the playground mulch we use, it's not wood chips. Like, we have lots and lots of wood chips around. We could get lots of wood chips. It's playground mulch, it's certified playground mulch, which is different. It's prepared a different way. It's cut a different way. It's designated as being soft underneath playground sets, et cetera. So we installed that. And to give you an idea, 100 cubic yards is about 25 tons of playground mulch. That's what gets put down. And that's what gets put down every year. So every year we put down about that much. Some at the very bottom disintegrates, some goes away, but we freshen everything up, and then we put down that over all those playground sets and underneath the swing sets and anything at the parks that have that. We finished putting the bocce ball court furniture in, so that's the court is pretty much ready now. We've got the signage up. We have the scoreboards that came in, and we're going to install them right before whenever the opening winds up being, but everything's ready to go. They've checked to make sure that the pins they put in for the horseshoe pits are firm, and they are. So, everything's pretty much ready to go on that front from Public Works side. There was one section that we wanted to regrass because it was a lot of mud there. We've regrassed that. That's not going to stop us opening it up whenever that's decided. We installed new dog stations at Brookside Park and at Greer Park. They were some of the old metal green ones. So we've put in the newer ones that we've gradually been putting in at different places. We took down the Newby Park basketball court backstops, sanded them down, repainted them. We were really hoping to replace them with all new, but it was very expensive to replace them. Basically because they don't make the poles the same way anymore. So you'd have to replace the whole thing or get a huge retrofit project. So because I know we're eventually going to be working over at Newby Park on the basketball court, that's the time we would look at doing something big down there. For now, we freshened it up. We took them down, sanded them down, repainted them. So it looks fresh over there.
I think all 4 of us saw them as
Good.
well, and they were.
Yeah, the new nets.
And new nets. Yeah.
It looks really nice, Jeff.
Very nice.
Very
Good. Thank you. It's those kind of, we are, by the way, because we know we're not going to be repainting that basketball court this year or in the immediate future, we're probably going to be doing a driveway sealer on it and then get somebody to come in and do professional relining of it again. So again, it's going to freshen the court up.
Right. Very good.
We did a bit of landscaping along the Goshen Trail, Bishop Hollow Trail, the Meadow Preserve, and also the area. It's affectionately known as Delmont Park. It's not really a park. It's a space in between Doe Lane and Delmont Road on the other side. It's a couple parcels of land there. It's not an active park. It's a strip of space not too far away from Newby Park. So we were doing landscaping work over there as well. We've done Drexel Lodge Park bridge repairs. So the pedestrian bridge going across the upper pond needed more repair work. We did that, and we actually added a couple steps on the far side. I know that had been requested, so we added them. The goose discouragement has been going along very well at Drexel Lodge. None set up shop. There were 2 that were hanging out for a while.
I saw 2.
Yeah,
But
but
you were there today as well. I tried to chase them, but they weren't.
yeah, they're pretty established there, but we're working on it. It's better than the 80 we started with last year, so it's good. And actually, because the animal warden who we contracted with to do this work, he knew it was a lighter year this year than it was last year at Drexel Lodge. He hasn't done a full program over at Brookside Park, but he's gone over and chased them away from over there. So I think it helped over there. There were actually a lot of geese at Brookside Park as well this year.
Yeah.
And they were right on the football field, baseball field.
Yeah.
I think he has been chasing them away. They've been hanging out on the other side of the creek, the Fox's Run. So I think we're getting some benefit for that park as well. We picked up the trash after the Drexel Lodge Park streams cleanup, and then there was another cleanup nearby along that same run over on Gradyville Road. So we got all that And again, thanks to all the people that came out and worked at that. It was a great day of trash pickup. Ballpark, it was about 450 hours of labor that we threw into the park and trail system this last month, just to give you an idea.
Wow.
And that is my report to you. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, George, you and your staff.
Yes, thank you.
Great.
I do have a question. When, do we have any kind of time frame on when we would reseal that basketball court at Newby, reline it?
So I think it's something we could probably do within the next month or two. It's not it's because it's going to be a driveway sealer, essentially. It won't be a full repainting.
I think that's fine. I just
Yeah.
I have some basketball players in my house and I said, why don't you ever use that when it's shaded? Because it's gonna be very hot over here. And they're like, oh, we don't think about it. And so I'm like, we better think about it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I think we're going to be, we've put it onto our list of projects we want to accomplish. So it's something you'll see get done. I'll keep this group in the loop. Unfortunately, the day, so Monday, when we went over to Newby Park and I said, it should be clear, we were there cleaning up and all that. There was a broken bottle on the basketball court. So it is what it is,
Yeah.
but we cleaned all that up and moved on.
Thank you.
Item 8.1, new business discussion and possible action regarding the five-part series for the summer recreation program. So the schools don't get out until the 17th, the week of the 17th of June, and the children that are being targeted will be in school. So I talked with Angela, and we were looking at the 20th, the 20th of June, the 27th of June, and then the Tuesday is the 4th of July, so we can't do that. So it would be the 11th of July, the 18th of July, and the 25th of July. It kind of extends more into the summer, but they're kind of our bleak months anyway, so it would give us something on our calendar. So if everyone is in favor of that, we can just use those dates.
And can you give those dates again?
June 20, June 27, July 11, July 18, and July 25.
Thank you.
So if need be, I could support all of those myself, but I'll put something together and send it out more formal. And if anyone has a date that they would like to do, that would be great. So the 20th would be Mastardi's nursery.
I'm Mastardi's.
Yes, at Mastardi. Steve Mastardi has agreed to do it at his facility. It'll be a seed planting event. And then the library has like button makers. And they have some things that they could do that they'll bring with them as well for each of these events. And they'll advertise it. They'll bring the kids in, so we don't have to worry about advertising ourselves. And we could expect like 20 to 40 kids, I would think, at each event. And I reached out to the Historic Society, and they're on board with doing the paper mill house. That would be better than the covered bridge because there's more parking available. And I think it's just more exciting than the other thing. And then Public Works, we'll have to work out a date with them. The firehouse is on board with us. And what the heck is the other, Drexel Lodge Park. There's a guy who does puppets and storytelling. So I reached out to him and signed him up for, I think that's the 27th of June. Yes, the 27th of June.
So that's the DLP.
And it's at Drexel Lodge Park. It won't be from 11 until 12 o'clock.
Are they always 11 to 12?
No,
That one will be.
yes. Some of them will be 10 to 11. I think that's usually their traditional time is 10 to 11 with the library that
Do
they
you know
do.
what time the Mastardi's will be?
No, I'll stop in with Steve again. I made up a flyer and I revised it, so I'm gonna take it back to get his approval on that, and he can put it on his stores advertised there as well.
Sorry, where's our fifth location? We have Mastardi's
we have Drexel Lodge Park, we have the Paper Mill House, we have the Firehouse, and where's the fifth one?
Public Works.
Public Works. Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
George,
okay.
George is gonna show us the
Yeah.
trucks.
Awesome.
Drive us around
Good,
the
good,
parking
good.
lot, yeah. Can they drive the water truck with Paul?
Think about that, Peter.
There might be some liability issues.
Yeah, maybe.
So I'll try and work out the rest of the dates and then send it out to the full committee.
That's a great idea.
I think it's an amazing program, so
Wonderful.
great, thank you.
Great. Fortunately, I'm working close to.
I know I work Tuesdays and Thursdays.
I know you're working.
I'll be available a couple of.
Okay, so Desiree and I can, and hopefully then perhaps Bill will be back and he could do one of them with Bobby. But they'll have staff, the library will have staff there, so it's not much on us.
Right.
So item, old business. Item 9.1, review. The Newby Park chalk event. Caitlin, I just want to thank Judith Lake for her help, fishing water ice. She was fantastic.
Yeah, I walked away from it. She took it right on.
She was great.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was a really nice event. Thank you, George. Thank you. Thank you to Public Works. It was a really great setup. I think we had about 60 people,
Yeah.
which was really great. The weather was nice and there was a few other community events going on. So I think, even despite we had a good turnout. George, thanks for the heads up to move it to Sunday because Saturday would have been a mudslide at Newby. So, but yeah, I think it went really well. We had some extras. We took the extra pretzels over to EAC, who were hard at work planting trees along Gable Park.
Oh, nice.
Mhm.
And Desiree supplied the water for that
Thank you.
event.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you,
so,
Desiree.
so I actually took the full bottles of water with me. Is it okay if I use them at the April 15th stream cleanup at Gable Park?
I knew where you'd like to use them this
Okay.
time, David. Thank you for asking. I'm happy to offer some water.
We do whatever we can. And there were two, who was there? Peters, state
Yeah,
representatives came in.
Lisa Borowski
Lisa
and her
Borowski.
husband, Mark. And then there were some others.
Chandler.
Yeah.
Kathy
Kathy
Chandlis
Chandlis showed up, yes, yes. We took pictures with Kathy Chandlis with our team and
And with Lisa,
with Lisa Borowski and I believe
her husband.
and her husband, Mark, yes.
Yes.
And Caitlin's children.
Caitlin and your
Oh,
kids
yeah.
were there.
They're gonna be in a flyer for the month, I think, or.
Yeah.
Great.
Discussion and possible action regarding the Family Fun Day event at Drexel Lodge Park, item 9.2. So I think we're set. The library is coming. So Desiree and I talked about this before the meeting. We're gonna have them hand out the passport
great.
at the event there. And so we're gonna try and have that passport available at all of our events. We'll do it at the stream cleanups as well. Just to promote our parks. I think it will really help us going forward, getting kids out to the park. I was at Drexel Lodge Park today and it was packed.
Yeah.
With kids. Yeah.
Really?
Yes. Yes, all sorts of kids.
That
Yes.
is so good.
There were parents there blowing great big bubbles and the kids were running all over the place. It was really a lot of fun.
Cool.
And George has opened the bathrooms
Mhm.
there as well.
Yeah, the restrooms are open now that
Yes.
we're past the freezing
Right.
concern with the water, so it's been good. They get open every morning. We open them when we come into work, and then the police close them at the end of the night.
And one of the things George has done is he's written the grant for some maintenance work at Drexel Lodge Park. I know this is kind of off topic, but there was Divine Providence goes there with people with needs.
Mhm.
And they use that facility an awful lot. I
Yeah.
talked to some of the staff. They'll write a letter. I'm gonna go over to that place. They'll write a letter of support for the park itself that we can include with the grant.
With grants.
Our committee can write a letter of support, and whoever else goes there, the train museum, anybody you can think of that could write a letter of support. It might seem like fluff, but it's a really important thing to have in a grant because they realize how many people are using the park.
So can you get coaches, soccer coaches?
Yes, that's a good idea.
What is the grant money supposed to go towards?
I think the one we're going to go for again is the one we tried the last go around with a lot of the improvements like the roof, so for example, like the pavilion roof, we're going to repair this year, but it doesn't need to be replaced.
Right.
The pedestrian bridge we're repairing, but it needs to be replaced. And there's other things that we want to try to, do some little things. We wanted to
That's great.
replace the gazebo with something that was a little more concert friendly,
Mhm.
and maybe a little more of a stage down there. And yet it would stand perfectly well all by itself the rest of the year. We're not aiming to try to do something that would be like a rose tree that it's obvious it's a stage. It's not a stage, it's a gazebo, but we could quickly turn it in. It might be a 3-sided gazebo. So some of those kind of things we're looking at doing.
It's great.
Maybe a person we could get to do a write-up would be Sheila, because she's involved with the yoga and all sorts of different things.
Well, and that's the one that we're looking at right now. We're really trying to look at all the kind of grants that are out there that would benefit the park. That's one that I'm talking about, that there's physical things we could do repairs with, but there's so much other stuff that we could look under rocks and try to find.
The event itself, I think everything's set. The band has signed up. I think the price is still the same. They're holding the price, whatever they were going to charge us last year. The petting zoo is the same price. The playground, what's it called? The
Charming Star.
Charming Star. Yes, they're gonna,
Playroom.
they're donating in kind, their effort. They're gonna have characters there and a craft table. I can't remember who else is coming, but I think that would be just about the total cost. And then we're gonna have giveaway bags for the kids. I'm just gonna order it on Amazon, and then I'll send the bill over. The Railroad Museum is holding all of the funds, so whatever the charges are for that, they'll reimburse me for that directly. And we're gonna need volunteers for that event. If anyone has any volunteers at all, I don't know where we
We
can.
talked about volunteers last meeting. Desiree, did you reach out, or did anyone reach out about, I think we were going to, I forget what the group is called, but there's like a team group at the high school.
Yeah, I forwarded it to the advisor there, and I will double check and forward you guys a copy of the email, but I did request volunteers for that day.
Okay.
Because the teenagers don't really know their schedules as far out, or that, it
Mhm.
doesn't tend to like fill out responses till a couple weeks before. But I'll follow up on it, make sure that I have the information correct, that I did actually put it on their list, pretty sure I did. And I'll send you guys all a copy.
Great.
And then we can go from there with what kind of adjustments we might need.
And so I'll send something out as well to the other committees,
Okay.
all of our other
Great.
committees, to see if they could help us out at all. And if anyone, their church or anything at all, we could use all the help that we can get.
And as a matter of fact, that did trigger everything, because I was very specific on what we needed. So it is
You
done.
CC'd me.
It
on,
is
yes.
done, it is submitted. I'm sorry, I was having a moment. Yeah, but I will send it to all of us so we all have it, and I will follow up like 3 weeks out, and then 2 weeks out, and then 1 week out. And it should fill up. There weren't that many people that we needed some students. I mean, it wasn't that many.
Yeah, I think it was like 6. that we
Yeah.
asked for.
Yeah, it'll fill up.
And I think everyone's manning their own stuff. There might
Yeah.
be some help needed with food.
We had somebody on that list for food
Yes,
for the
yes.
students, and line management and the craft table and things like that. So
Now, we'll be parking. I'm hoping Bill can be there as well. And Peter and I, you're not gonna be there.
Yeah, I've got
So-
more.
Bill and I will help with parking. I don't know if anyone's husbands or, your neighbors, anybody could, help with parking. Do we want to block off, when we did that, the Walk for the Wounded event, we blocked off the entrance to the park and used the exit for both entrance and exit. Is that something that we want to consider to alleviate traffic by the gazebo?
Let me look at that. It's a fair thought. The challenge is always the U-turn
Yes.
Yeah.
necessary to be able to then go into the
And then we
exit.
need
The other thing was that we knew that most people were arriving at the same time. and leaving at the same time, ballpark, so we
Yes.
could kind of control it a little bit. Let me look at it. I think that's a fair, I think it's a fair concept. And so, I mean, I'll be there obviously, and 3 of the public works staff will be there to help too.
Okay. So we should have parking covered. That would be, all right.
I have a question.
Oops,
That was my bad.
that was a sign.
Yeah, I shouldn't ask this question. No, our church youth group is looking for projects in June, after school's out, but I think the youth group leader has just middle schoolers. Would you want middle school kids to help? Or I think you'd probably want high school.
I think we were in high school.
Okay. That would be a
But thank you
liability.
for-
Yeah, the kids, middle schoolers would be just playing. They,
So
yeah, they wouldn't be helping it.
when are they available?
Well, I don't know if they're available. Oh, in June.
It would only be in June?
Well, they're looking to do, it was more of a community outreach, like go help the elderly or maybe not to do a 5-part series, but yeah, I gave the guy our schedule. He just is kind of stuck in June, wants to just do a work thing for the kids to get experience giving away. That was it. And to help the community, which I was thrilled about. Because sometimes the churches can be insular.
Maybe we could, as a group, find something for them to do, like maybe pick up sticks on the nature trail or something like that. I know we're not trails and what's it called? Trails. and
Greenways.
Greenways.
Wait.
But maybe as
Yeah.
a township, we could find something constructive for them to do.
Yeah, let's think about that.
Okay.
Because I would hate to not, if we can be creative in it, it would be a wonderful thing for those kids.
Maybe EAC has a whole list of events. They might have something too.
Thanks, I'm gonna.
It's not for high school, for middle schoolers, I
Yeah,
think,
I think EAC, there has a bunch of planning things coming up, but that might be, or Parks and Greenway if they need. Parks and Greenway.
Because generally it might be Public Works that might go take a loop around and pick up the sticks. Maybe you could skip it for a couple of weeks so that there's some sticks for them.
Yeah, yeah. How long of a project would they be looking for, or like a duration?
Probably. 3 or 4 hours.
If they need a couple hours, I would send them to EAC.
Yeah, EAC is a great idea.
They have a lot.
Cindy Mahalo,
Yeah,
Or Sheila?
Sheila's the chair now.
she goes to the same church. So I'm just,
Oh.
Right.
thank you for that. It's off our plate.
Oh.
One less thing for us to think about.
Meeting adjourned.
So I think we're good on the family fun day event. And if anyone has the volunteers, just send me their names and numbers or contact information. And I'll share it with the Railroad Museum as well.
If for any reason we might need like last minute, there's a group, Marple Civic Youth, and I reached out to them when we were originally gonna have this event. And they had a few people that they were gonna have help out. So I didn't offer them up this time because Desiree, you had recommended the Marple Museum High School group.
And they overlap, to be honest with you.
It's probably,
yeah. The
probably
students that
separate.
are in the Marple Civic group are also
yeah.
in the Interact Club and then.
I saw them on
So,
Facebook.
yeah,
They're
they're-
really.
they're a
in the
wonderful group.
community. They seem great and
Wonderful
they
group.
do a lot of volunteering.
Yeah,
All over. So if we do need extra, but
We
it
will-
sounds like it's.
we got it covered.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm sure we do.
Sounds good.
Item 9.3 is discussion and possible action regarding the opening of the Bocce Ball courts at Drexel Lodge Park. So Rich Enal was at the Board of Supervisors meeting, and Desiree and I had a chance, and George had a chance to talk with him. He's looking at April 17th, I think it is, to start league play. He might not be doing it at Drexel Lodge, but he's going to start at least in Marple's bocce courts.
What was the date?
April 17th. So we would need an opening day. I don't know if the supervisors want to take a picture, something like that.
yeah. I mean, from our standpoint, The only thing that was left was Richie Nail's job box. He has, and we're ready to pick it up. He was just working on the locking mechanism on it because he was originally it was just for the leagues that sign up, but he was going to let Dunwoody's league that they were forming also utilize that box. And so he was just finagling a second lock on it. Other than that, we're ready to go. You know, we just have to put the scoreboards up there and it's, you know, it's ready to go. So whenever you would recommend to the board to, you know, to want to open it up and make it available to the public, that's your call. We're ready.
So what do you guys think? Should we do it like on a Saturday? Have, you know, whoever can be there, and then just, you know, if we can get 2 supervisors to be there, it's make some kind of presentation and take a picture and put it on Facebook. I don't know when would be good.
Well, April 22nd is Earth Day.
So that'll be busy.
Yeah.
And the 15th is the Greer and the Brookside
Right.
Park cleanup.
Cleanup,
So
yeah.
they'll be busy
That's
there.
not
Perhaps the 29th of April.
I think the 29th is the tree planting event from the Shade Tree Commission. Again, that doesn't mean that you can't do it, but it could, especially for the supervisors, it might cause a challenge if they're participating in the tree planting.
The May 6th is the Family Fun Day, so we'll be busy that day.
On the 29th, just to let you folks know, there'll be a shredding event over at Marple Newtown High School that 3 district offices are involved with, mine being one of them. So if you want to bring all your papers over, 2 boxes worth.
What date is it?
It's the 29th from 10 to 1 at the high school.
How about the April 22nd? What is going on April 22nd?
Nothing for me. Oh, tree planting.
There was Earth Day was a Trails Committee trail walk that had to do with the paper mill house. That doesn't mean we couldn't. You know, you may want to go to the board and say, you know, we're ready. You want to pick a day in April and go for it.
When is their next meeting?
There's one on Monday, and then there's one 2 weeks after Monday. I'd have to look up the date.
So we give them short notice.
How does May 13th? Following after our family fun day.
Okay. Does that work for?
And that would,
I can't make it, but
oh,
I mean, still have it.
we can't make them all.
Yeah, May 13th, I'm not sure, but I will try.
And again, I'll just say there's no reason why you couldn't do it on the family fun day if you wanted to.
Oh, that's true. That could be part of it.
Right. Oh, yeah, we hope to have them there anyway. Yeah.
That's
All
probably a
right.
good idea.
Yeah, we'll have
Okay.
a lot of people there
All right,
witnessing it.
Yeah.
May 6th.
Good.
Is that something that we should present to the board then?
I would present it. I would throw it out to them as an idea.
And I guess we'd want Rich now there as well, if he
Yeah.
could make it.
Good idea.
Is there anyone else that should be there? And then another thing I thought, we need to bring attention to that. And Desiree, if you can get communication going on that, that would be great. But should we have some kind of event, during the summer, maybe the police department play the fire department for
Yeah.
a game or something like that. I don't know if that would be or our fire department against Marple's fire department or something like that. Maybe that's something we could ask the board what their thoughts would be on that.
Yeah.
Chief Lund would be there then. So is that something we would need to ask to be on the agenda for the supervisors meeting, George?
For May 6th, I'm sorry for recommending a date or letting you know
Yes.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it should be on the agenda and we can get it on the agenda.
So would it be on the 10th or the 24th then?
I would do it on Monday if you're available.
Okay.
What time is that meeting, George?
It's at 7 PM.
7 to 8,
Mhm.
30. Like
Yeah.
ours, yeah.
And if it's an issue, we'll just do it 2 weeks later.
Yeah, I'll work with you tomorrow.
Okay.
Let me know. We could always. Steve could do it. Whatever you-
Item, is there anything else on the family fun day that anyone had, or the bocce court? So item 9.4 is discussion and possible action regarding the Gable Park basketball court mural. So, Karen has provided some thermal imaging, concepts and see some geometric, concepts. Which we're trying to tone it down and not do anything too crazy. So George and I looked at, the thermal ideas that they had. They were just some concepts that they threw out. And they seem to be a little more intense, a little more vibrant than what we had hoped for. I did reach out to Karen and say we were more inclined to go with the geometric patterning where they would do the outside of the court and then kind of keep colors inside. And that way the lines that the kids use stand out better, so that they can still play basketball. It's more functional.
Right.
I'm waiting for a response back from that. I'm going to reach out to her again tonight and see what her thoughts are. But again, we don't want to do anything that's going to bring complaints from neighbors or offend.
Right, you gotta
Any-
keep the lines visible
Yes,
for the game.
yes, and I think most of the board has expressed that concern that they wanted the lines to be present.
It's more of a border mural. Is that what you're saying?
That's what we're kind of hoping for. But, it's gonna be up to the kids. And if it's anything that's gonna be too drastic, we would need to come back to us and the Board of Supervisors to ask for some approvals.
Right, because as of this point, the board hasn't, they saw some initial concepts 2 years ago,
Yes.
I guess it was, as to like where they were looking at going with it. But they haven't seen anything to approve at this point. And actually, you haven't seen anything
Right.
as a board, have not seen anything to say, yes, of these 10 things that came in, we recommend this one.
And I'm hoping that she's gonna give us 3. So that we're not
That's good.
all over the place.
That's good. We can choose from that.
Or have them dwindle their concepts down to 3 and then present it
And
to
then we
us.
can,
Is there any kind of direction that we gave them? Is it a be kind theme? Is it a sports theme? Is it a?
It was, we wanted to say something about community if possible, and some of their concepts did include that. We wanted to be non-religious specific, couldn't be political, and couldn't be seen as offensive by any member of the community. And it was pretty much.
yeah, I think maybe you had recommended something about history in there or incorporating that in there, although I don't think I've seen any. I haven't really seen any of those themes in any of the initial pieces that have come over yet. They've just been colors.
Gotcha.
That's pretty much been what.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think there's been anything that you've been ready to say, let's talk about these yet. I
No.
think they were still more batting it around in their minds.
In the thermal ones, they just look too complicated to me, and I think that some of the neighbors would not be happy with.
Yeah, like they were interesting concepts from their art class side. I don't know that you could play basketball on it. I mean, they showed lines on top of it. Not that I could play basketball to
Like
begin
maybe
with, but I
more
would
appropriate
probably
for
get a
like
headache.
mural
Yeah.
or
You get
not the court.
confused.
Yeah, it might be better in an urban setting.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I would think. Where there's a chain link fence around. That's what I kind of looked online and saw. This is busy. And it's beautiful.
When you talk to Karen, you'll ask for maybe like 3 samples and then go from there.
Yeah, and that's, I think my last email to her was, can you have your students window this down to 3 concepts and we'll either vote on it, the Board of Supervisors will vote on it, whatever.
And they probably, I mean, again, you have thrown themes out to them. They should probably identify what themes they're even talking about, because I'm not sure I saw themes in the things that had come over.
No,
They were art, which was great, but they were not picking up a theme and running with it. Maybe if they're required to say, this is representative of this theme, it might help them to be able to narrow it down too.
so it's a work in progress. A long progress.
Thank you, Wade.
Yes.
Do we do one more thing before we move on? Do we think we need to understand what the approval process is? Do we as a board approve the concept? Does the Board of Supervisors have to approve the concept? And if the Board of Supervisors has to approve the concept, do we want, again, maybe ask for their feedback on what they're looking for now, 2 years later, before we have the art students continue on a path where it doesn't seem like we have exactly a direction?
I don't want to give anyone the opportunity to hesitate anymore. It's, it's been a painful process. So I'd like to nail it down. I will explain to her that, and I did already, that we're looking more for a border concept. Keep the lines visible, predominant, yes, functional.
And at the end of the day, I think this board is going to recommend to the Board of Supervisors a plan, an art, and you may send over 3 and say, these are our recommendations. This is our first, this is our second, this is our third. The board has the final decision on whatever we do. I mean, if they say, at the end of the day, if they say no, none of these, or if they say this is a nice concept, but we needed to have this or that, they do get to make the final decision on it.
I think once you get the samples, we can take a look as a board and we can say, this is great, but maybe we could have this in the center, or we could do 2 of the corners or 4 corners or have a whole board. So I think whatever you get, and we can kind of figure it out from where exactly, like if you get something that's great, but it might just be really noisy to do the entire border. I think we could figure out how to make it work so that it's nice, and then present it to Board of Supervisors.
It has to be done before they're out of school. So that's the problem, is our window is shrinking and shrinking. We're going to meet in May, we'll meet in June, and then we're out of time. We have 2 weeks in June to do it. And we can't put it off because the court's been in disrepair. It's only gotten worse. If we go another summer, winter.
Yeah, I would say that, I mean, if we can't make it happen before the end of the school year, we would need to have a discussion saying, do we just scrap the idea and, look to the future with it, but get the court done? Because, it actually started 3 years ago.
It was before COVID.
Yeah, it was before COVID. And we were just going to repaint the court. We were going to do minor repairs and repaint the court. And, again, it with good reason, it kicked down the road, but we still need to repair the court.
So another option would be, if we can't find that the students will do it, that we go to Boron or some corporation, BlackRock, and we design it ourselves. We just tone it down where it's a color scheme. The border is one color and the inside circles are another color, just to bring some color other than plain green or plain red to the court, just so it pops a little, just to brighten up our community a little bit. So I've come up with some of my own designs.
Yeah,
If
can
we
you
have to
can you
go-
bring those?
If we have to go that route,
Well, let's.
I can send them out to the group, right?
Yeah.
And just for something to look at.
Yeah, definitely.
And if anyone else has any ideas, feel free.
You're the
Just send
artist.
them out.
You're the artist.
But I just, I know it's nice to have a plain color, but we're this town needs to brighten up a little. We're so boring.
I think that's a great plan B.
Yes,
You know, we'll see what the kids have, and if that's doesn't suit the purpose, we can take a look at what you have and add some color that way. I think that's great.
We could write, community stronger, something in the middle, around the circle.
yeah.
Something like that. So I'll send out whatever I have, so far. Some of them might be a little drastic, but I was trying to get Karen on board.
Thanks.
Discussion and possible action regarding the park passport. So Desiree and I talked about having the passport at all of our events, and we went over and spoke to the library. So what are your thoughts, Desiree? We're gonna,
I think we're all set as long as we're handing it out and it's supposed to go into the new magazine. And if the library has it, we're handing it out at our events. Yeah, I think we're all set. So the only thing I kind of added for fun was I ordered a little approved stamp so that the librarians can like approve their little passport and then they can take it home with them because we know how kids like to save their papers.
Nice.
they love
That's
to.
great.
Yeah, thanks. So, yeah, so other than that, I think we're all set. I mean, I don't know that we really got into distributing it to our local schools. I know there's a little bit of a distinction between what the school district and the PTO can hand out that the township is doing. So I don't know how that would go. I don't know how the other schools feel about that. I don't know about St. Annie's, but if we think we want to look into that, I'd be happy to look into that. So let me know.
When was the official start date? May 6th?
It was, I thought,
Or did it happen
Memorial
already?
Day.
Memorial Day.
Oh, we were doing Memorial Day, correct?
But we're handing them out May 6th.
Oh, then it's not. Then it must be May 1st.
That's right. I'll have
To
to check
Labor
the
Day.
minutes.
Yeah, we
Let
gotta check
everyone
we
know.
gotta check the minutes.
I think it might have been like May 1st.
May
to
1st to Labor Day. Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay,
But we should take them to all of our events, right?
right, yes.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna give publicity to our parks and
Yeah.
get kids out,
Yeah.
families.
And remember, it is in the newsletter. So if the newsletter hits a couple days early, it'll be there.
Yeah.
So I'll bring the, I'll make an appointment with Angela to bring over the supplies so that she has them, within the next week.
And,
Great.
and as far as the display goes, you want to work with her on that, it's where, so we're as prominent as we can be in the library because there's a lot out there. Desiree and I were in there earlier today and it's just, there's a lot,
It's busy.
yes. Is there anywhere else that we could, place it? Is there a place in the building here? We could do it upstairs perhaps?
You could do it upstairs. I mean, it's a little busy up there too, but yes, you could definitely do it there. Children are going to see it mostly in the library.
I could post one, Starbucks has a pretty empty community board right now. I could post one, and write a little note on it, pick up at the library.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think they,
maybe, do we have a family fun day, printout that I could post there also? I don't go to Starbucks that often, but I was surprised at how little was on the community board. We have a printout of that family fun day that I could.
I can
post?
email it to you. I know I've got an email. Wade, you probably have it too, but I can email it to you.
My printer's not working great. Is there any way?
Oh, I could give you a hard copy of it.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I'll let you know when we printed it out.
Okay, thanks. I can pick it up. Thank you.
We could put a little social media ad and then maybe Steve could post it or.
Yeah, do you want me to write something up and have Steve post? I could take a picture of it and have Steve post it.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Steve.
I feel like that's my go-to, is some of the town square groups.
Facebook. The item 9.6. So, the pickleball, I think if we had Richie now, if anyone knows anyone that's involved with pickleball, there's someone on Facebook who's constantly bombarding the township, just slamming the township for not having pickleball. He's always on there. I can't remember his name. I actually reached out to him and had, said, call me and we'll bring you in and you can talk to us. I think he called, but he hung up when I answered the phone. So I could try and reach out to him again. If anyone knows anyone that's involved with pickleball.
I know somebody who installs pickleball courts on a pretty big level. So I can reach out to them. I don't know if they have the time to speak with us, but
They
they,
could write something up even.
if they had time or they have a staff member, but, yeah, this person just did, there was a big spread on the big indoor court, pickleball courts somewhere in New Jersey or something like that. He did all those. So his background is tennis courts, but now he does pickleball courts too.
Mhm.
So, I will reach out. I know his sister, so I'll reach out to his sister and see if I can get in touch with him.
Do we want information like how much would it cost? What's the noise level that we can expect?
Size.
Size. Is it half of the tennis court?
I think it's half a tennis court, isn't it?
Okay.
Yeah, they turn them sideways.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you have double, one game here, one game there.
So if you use the basketball court, you would have two. If some people were converting basketball courts into a.
Oh, yeah, you could,
Pickleball.
I think you could easily put two on a basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get sports companies that reach out and talk and ask us about converting, not knowing what we have, but converting basketball courts into pickleball.
Tennis courts as well, I hear.
Yeah.
And I believe there's one at Elicitor.
Yes.
That they just installed
Yep,
recently.
yep, you can ride by there and look at it. They have a bocce ball court down there too. Down by the pond.
It actually was 2 tennis courts, and then they made the 1 tennis court, 2 pickleball courts, and that's 1 tennis court, 2 pickleball courts in the bocce. And then
Right.
half court basketball.
Mhm.
But,
And I know someone that's involved with the Havertown pickleball court. I'll speak with them and see if they can get somebody from there to come over. and
That'd be
visit
great.
With us. Yeah. I'm just to try and get a better understanding of just how impactful it'll be to the community and.
And so I was thinking over, Aspen, we were looking at putting a wall up, the privacy wall, deaden the noise. To be able to come up to neighbors and say, well, here's a plan. You won't hear very much.
Right. Well, just remember you did table 9.6.
yeah, so we
Yeah.
really can't talk about.
But but let's just start doing any kind of research you can on bringing people in to discuss. Public comment, there's no public comment. Items for next agenda. I thought of something, but now I can't remember.
We could, well, all the old business. Our new business stays on, right? The 5 part summer series.
Yeah, we're gonna nail that down a little better. I'll reach out to the 5 functions and try and nail down the exact dates that will work for everyone.
Items for next agenda, could we add a review on Greer Park and the possibility of when we might have playgrounds available to go in there? Is it, 6 months, 2 years, 3 years?
Yeah, I can try to get an update on that
That'd
and
be great.
have some presentation. I mean, and maybe if Steve's still here from it depends. I'm probably going to be doing the Trails Committee, be the main person, the representative for that as well. But if Steve happens to be at that meeting, I'll ask him, can he stay and maybe talk about the Greer Park update? If not, I'll get it from him and share it with you.
And I did speak with him last week about it. So I do have some information that I could provide if he's not available.
Great.
I think it's gonna be a while before we. And we can always add stuff to the agenda as we go, right? Yes. We're adjourned.
I move to adjourn.
Adjourned.
I
Second.
second, go ahead.
Oh, that was before, I got it mixed up, but
We try it again.
no.